Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about 2 improvements that you can do on your RV and 1 fix when it comes to your cabinet drawers. That's if you're having issues with your cabinet drawers. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's first talk about drinking water. The one thing that we really hated to do was buy a whole bunch of bottled water, because when you go to these campgrounds, as everyone knows, you know that the water quality is probably pretty bad and most folks don't want to drink it. So we ended up buying a lot of bottled water, and we had a lot of trash. But the one thing that we have at our house and that we really enjoy is a reverse osmosis filter. So what we ended up doing is I ended up putting it in the RV, and I ended up putting this one right here, and I'll have a link to it. I'll do an affiliate link to this, and we put it in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and it's turned out to be a wonderful addition. So we don't have to get the bottled water anymore. Water tastes great, and it was definitely a cheap solution for us. So okay, let me go ahead and show you. So for those of you that don't know, this is in a Thor Magnitude 2022, and what we have is we have some extra room under the kitchen area right here. So here's that reverse osmosis filter. What I ended up doing was I ended up putting a piece of wood here to mount the filters in. The actual seat doesn't touch this, so it's pretty good. There's about 4 different wires you have to hook up, and this is the storage tank. And because this tank is pressurized, I was able to lay it down and strap it in. They say this is 3 gallons. I don't think it's 3 gallons. I think it's about 1.5 gallons of water in there. And then that kit also included some extra filters. So this is what it looks like. We actually put this here. The reason that we did this is because we didn't want to come over here if someone was in the kitchen and work around them. So we figured that this would be the easiest solution. So you can see that there's good water pressure. Now, one thing I was worried about was drilling into this countertop. So what I ended up doing is, this is a little trick, is I took a piece of tape and I taped it where I thought I should put it. Then I got my phone, turned on the light, and I placed the phone like that. And this countertop is transparent enough that when I looked under the sink, I could see exactly where it went. The reason I wanted to make sure I knew exactly where the, wanted to make sure I knew exactly where the hole was, is I didn't want to actually drill into this or some other piece of metal here. So that's how I ended up installing it. Worked out good. So there's about four water lines that you have to run. One is obviously from your the main water line. And in this case, it's a little dark in there. Let me see if I can get some light on it. So, okay. So you can kind of see way back there, the blue. So that top piece is what came with the kit. And the white line to the right is the main line into the filter. And then what also came is this piece right here. You have to tap into the sewer line. So we did that, and you have you probably can't see it. Maybe you can. The main water line that leads up to here. And then you have the 4th and final water line that leads to the water tank. So this was a pretty easy install. I would definitely recommend it. I don't think you can really go wrong with this situation. Some folks end up putting the water filter in the bathroom. We didn't have room for that, so this ended up being a really good solution. So the other item I want to talk to you about is the refrigerator. So we have a residential fridge. There it is. And we also have an outdoor fridge, and both run on AC. They run on the inverter. Well, one of the problems is a lot of times we don't need the fridge to run. So when it's in storage and we just want to keep DC running, or in general, we wanted to have control over when the main fridge is on. We never use the outside fridge. So what I ended up doing was I ended up buying these, and the link will be in the video too. And I added 2 of them to the fridges, and I can control it by way of my phone. So it's a smart switch. I can turn on and off the fridge. So if I'm driving around and I don't have anything in the actual fridges or don't need them, I can turn them off, but still have the inverter on. Otherwise, I'd have to go to the fuse box, and for those of you that don't know, our fuse box, we can't even get to it when the slides are in. So I didn't want to have to deal with that mistake. The other, not mistake, that issue. The other problem would have been just, we would have had to unplug it, and the actual, for this fridge right here, the actual, we have to take this drawer out and then get underneath it to get to the plug itself. So for those of you that have this sort of issue, these smart switches might be a really good solution. So it made a whole bunch of difference for us. Okay, and for the fix that I'm going to do for this video, for those of you that have these soft close drawers, kitchen drawers, or just drawers in general, everything was working great when we picked up the RV, but we ended up having problems where the drawers actually were not shutting. So they would either not shut or they wouldn't stay shut. So this drawer in particular wouldn't stay shut, so every time we made a turn it came floating out. This bottom drawer, we couldn't even get it closed. We pushed on it and we ended up breaking things. So I'm going to show you what the problem was. So if you run into this took me a while to figure out. So if you run into this, keep this in mind. So the first thing that you need to do is, one of the easiest checks, if it's not staying shut, is at the back of the drawer slides themselves is this plastic piece, or it should be something similar. So if you pull on it, hold on, I got to put the camera down. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. But you have this plastic piece, and if it's just closing and not locking, what you want to do is pull this forward a little bit, and it should look like that. At least one of the slides should be in an outward position. So if it's in an outward position, the actual rail here will engage. So if we move this, if we move the rail in, what this is going to do is, you'll see it'll click here and lock it in and pull it in like that. And this is how these rails work. So now there's a spring holding it back, so it won't fly open when you're dealing with these drawers. So when I figured this out, it still did not fix my problem. So one of the reasons it did not fix my problem, and let me go ahead and get this out. Okay, so one of the reasons that did not fix my problem, I mean, it was the problem originally where the plastic was retracted, but when I went ahead and did this, the issue was still there. Now, instead of it essentially not staying closed, it just would not close all the way in. And there's a reason why. So if you look, let me move the camera. If you look here, you see this rail, okay? What Thor did was they screwed them in right here, and they made this completely flush, the end completely flush. But I guess since the RV, twists and turns and does all this stuff, this was not lining up, and it was not clicking on this button right here. So what I had to do with the drawers that were giving me issues was I had to relocate the actual screw there, and I actually had to bend this out a little bit. And again, I think it's because the drawers were not completely lined up, not completely flush. And this being the case, we need to add some distance here in order for it to trigger this mechanism right there. So I hope this helps. It took me many hours of looking around to seeing what was causing the issues. So it was that once I moved the actual rail out towards the end, they all ended up working. I do want to point out that at least with Thor, what they ended up doing was towards the back end, if you have to take these out, you only have to unscrew one screw to get these out. You have to towards the back where it actually slides into a bracket, and then all you do is you unscrew the screw right in front. So it'll save you some time by not having to unscrew everything. So anywho, I hope this works. I know our videos are sporadic, but I do realize, and I believe that what I showed you, at least this go around, will help save you time and money and frustration. So I'll talk to you guys later. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thanks.